This first song is kind of a sad, kind of a downer song, but I'll pick it up later on. It's a song about mobs. And since we're going through a lot of turmoil in the campuses and what have you, this song is called "The Victim of a Mob." And it's about, well, I'll back up a little bit. My grandfather was a minister, and he preached all over the Midwest here. And he was from Germany, so he spoke German, and he preached in German to German congregations. Well, at some point, you'll probably know when, he was told, "You cannot speak German." Kind of crazy, right? Think of it now, having the government say, "You can't speak a certain language." Well, you couldn't. And this song is about a German immigrant. His name is Robert Prager. And this is his story. He had it much worse than my grandfather. Oops, let me try. Okay, start again. Robert Prager came here at 17 years old. An immigrant on his own, spoke with a German accent, we're told. He loved to fly the American flag. He was loyal, stubborn, and bold. But he wanted to be a union miner. "Get out of here, you're not one of us," he's told. When mobs rule, when mobs rule, when mobs rule. 200 drunken miners dragged him from his home, made him walk barefoot on broken glass, tacks, and stones. The police, they tried to break up that mob, but to no avail. A drunken, angry, bigoted mob, no law would prevail. When mobs rule, when mobs rule, when mobs rule. He was beaten, he begged for mercy, then he wrote a last note home. A noose was placed around his neck, and the miners egged each other on. And at midnight, in a tall hackberry tree, 10 feet in the air, Robert Prager hung, draped in the flag he loved so dear. When mobs rule, when mobs rule, when mobs rule. 11 miners were charged, all were let go. The fix was in, you see, and the trial was just for show. The police, the judge, and the lawyers, all were blamed. In Collinsville, Illinois, for generations was ashamed. When mobs rule, when mobs rule, when mobs rule. Now the Sedition Act of 1918, the mob in Congress passed. Now you could not speak German in public or a school class. You could not even read German in newspapers or books. The German language banned even in a church nook. When mobs rule, when mobs rule, when mobs rule. Now many years have passed, and the memories of Prager fade. But some of German heritage did not forget his fate. His body exhumed from Illinois, reburied in a German-friendly state. And his headstone now reads, victim of a mob. Well, let's see. Okay, I'll do. I like to write songs. Oh, I'm a self-taught genealogist. I like to do the family history kind of stuff. And so I first read a book about certain immigrants to the Midwest here. And so I wrote three songs about that history of my ancestors coming to America from Europe. And so this is the first one. It's called Ball of Yarn. Just a babe when Napoleon ravaged our land, then a revolution and Austria's heavy hand. The winds of war now blowing again, conscription takes the best of our men. Streamers of colored yarn blowing in the breeze, streamers of colored yarn floating in the seas. Streamers of colored yarn brings us to our knees. Well, this farm's been marginal with clay and sandy soil, but my son, it's yours now to work and toil. Give it your best with those strong working hands until we reunite on a new farm in a new land. Streamers of colored yarn blowing in the breeze, streamers of colored yarn floating in the seas. Streamers of colored yarn brings us to our knees. Well, the weavers close their shop, imported cloth is so cheap. Like us, they're packing trunks, what to toss or keep. Our papers all in order, we've settled our debts. Farewell to old friends with tearful eyes, but no regrets. Streamers of colored yarn blowing in the breeze. Streamers of colored yarn floating in the sea. Streamers of colored yarn brings us to our knees. Well, for hundreds of years our family farmed this earth. Walking up that gangway, a new life will birth. Here, take this ball of yarn, and I'll hold on to this end. Let it unravel in your hands as the sails fill with wind. Streamers of colored yarn blowing in the breeze. Streamers of colored yarn floating in the sea. Streamers of colored yarn brings us to our knees. Well, at the railing we're all wailing as yarn streams out. Hold on as long as you can, we love you, we shout. Streamers of colored yarn, the last of family ties. Can't hold back that ship, nor the water's tides. Streamers of colored yarn blowing in the breeze. Streamers of colored yarn floating in the sea. Streamers of colored yarn brings us to our knees. To our knees. Streamers of yarn. Time for one more?
If you got a short one.
Let's see. Well, I got to do a river song because that's what I usually do. Let's see. I know I've got some here somewhere. Oh, yeah, okay. It's called River of Paradise. I grew up on the Fox River, so a lot of my songs are about growing up there. This is about a young boy, me, growing up on the river. Well, the Fox River to some is a waterway to lakes, and for others it's a cruise way for skiing over wakes. And for some it's a pontoon boat, party with ice. But to a young boy living there it was paradise. To a young boy it was a river paradise. A river paradise. My dad and I walked down to the river shore, and he showed me fishing basics, and that opened the door. Well, Tom Sawyer, he'd be jealous of a place like this. Fishing, swimming, and fishing again, it was pure bliss. To a young boy, it was a river paradise. A river paradise. Well, cane pole fishing at first on the channel banks. eyeing my bobber until a fish yanks. Oh man, the excitement and the thrill, the first fish of the day, a bluegill. To a young boy it was a river paradise. A river paradise. Well, a keeper we judge on the stringer he goes, a new worm on the hook as the muddy waters flow. Bullheads and bluegills, sunfish and perch. On Sunday mornings I much preferred fishing than church. To a young boy it was a river paradise. A river paradise. Well, at the end of the day, man, time to go home. We pulled up that stringer and let out a groan. Man, those turtles, they had a feast. It was just fish heads. Oh, those darn turtles, when I catch you, you're dead. To a young boy, it was a river paradise. A river paradise. As I look out at the river, a flood of memories, a treasure of experiences my mind sees. It's not majestic or scenic to most people's eyes, but to a young boy living there it was paradise. To a young boy it was a river paradise. A river paradise. To a young boy it was a river paradise. Thank you.